Hi Deep. Yeah, so we'll be starting the session in another 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Happy Holi Akshay. Hi Ankita. Hi Ishita. Okay, so we have a DI session today, data interpretation. I will take up a few questions of DI and look at how to go about solving them. Right, so yeah, so we start with it. So we start with yesterday's caselet that we went about. So we couldn't solve it because of the space, so we solve it today. So it is solvable. You can try solving it. Hi Shwetal. So DI Devendra, maybe 1 minute per question is possible. So that means if you're solving 24 questions, 24 minutes is what you can allow. So depending on the number of questions, approximately maybe little more than 1 minute per question. So if there's 6 question series, maybe around 7 to 8 minutes is fine. Hi Simajit. You can't hear me, Ram, but I assume people can hear me. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me? Yes, okay, perfect. Sorry. Fine. Complete this. I'll start solving in a minute. Right. So if I go with this particular series, now if you look at this is solvable, though it is a caselet. Normally caselets are not solvable, but if you look at the length of the caselet is not too big. One, the numbers which are there are not too difficult. 1500 is a fine number to work on, so you can always solve. 30%, 150 and all is fine. There are few difficult numbers, but overall it looks like a doable set of caselet, right? So we start with this particular case and see how to solve. So in a recently held Commonwealth Games, a total of 1500 players participate in 5 different games, which is athletics, hockey, lawn tennis, rugby and badminton. So total 1500 players. 30% total players participate in badminton. So 1500, 10% is 150, so 30% will become 450. 1/5 of total players participate in hockey. So 1/5 is 20%, which is 300. 17% of total players participate in lawn tennis and 15% participate in athletics. 15% athletics will be 15 15s are 225, and to that you add 2% more. 2% will be 30 more, so 255 will give you lawn tennis, right? So athletics will be 15 15s are 225, 2% extra is lawn tennis, 2% is nothing but 30 more, so you'll get 255. Okay, some kind of noise. Okay, just give me a minute, let me see if I can reduce it. Okay, is this better now in terms of sound? Okay, fine. So now the remaining is 1500. So if you look at total of these are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1100, 1200 and 30. So this is 1200 and 30. So rest is R, which is 270. Right now, once you get this 270, 2/5 of the hockey players are females. So 40% of females of hockey players. So you have females and males. So 40% is 120. So 180 males. Total number of rugby players is equal to number of male players in badminton. Wait, oh my god, the remaining players are in rugby. 250 hockey players are females. The number of rugby players is equal to the number of male players in badminton. So male players in badminton is 270. So females will be 180, the balance. 450 minus 270, 180. The ratio of male to female players in lawn tennis is 11:6. 11 plus 6 is 17. If you notice, 17 15s is 255. So automatically 6 15s are 90 will be females, and rest 165 will be males. There are 170 female athletes. So 170 female athletes, which means the number of male athletes will be 55. And number of female athletes is equal to number of male rugby players. So which is 170. Sorry, I wrote it opposite. 170 and 55 is opposite. And 170 and 100. Yeah, good evening, Kushal. So the number of female players who participate in badminton. So female players badminton is 180, is approximately what percent total number of players who participate in rugby? Total rugby is 270. So 180 upon 270 is nothing but 2 upon 3, which is nothing but 66.67 percentage. Right. What is the difference between some of the male players who participate in both hockey and rugby? So male players in hockey and rugby is 350. Okay, and female players who participate in tennis and badminton. Female in badminton and tennis, that is 180 and 90, 270. So if you take the difference, I think it will come as B option. Sorry. So B is the answer. Next, if due to certain reason athletics was dropped and all the athletics left the tournament, then what was the percentage of male players among the total players remaining in the tournament? So basically you have to remove athletes, okay, and find a male. So what is the total male? 2 3 4 5 500 650 735 is the male players. 735 male players among the total number of players is 1500 minus 225, 1275. So basically we're talking of 735 upon 1275. Just hold on. Okay, now how do you, this is a very close values. If you want, you can make out that all denominators 51, you can cancel and get out of 51. Okay, so it goes in 5. So you look at 5 ones are 23, 4s are 7s are 147 numerator, and 5 2s are 10, 5s are 15, 255. Now is it 785? Okay, so I move out. So 1 5 ones are 5, 28 is 5, 35 is 157 upon 255. So you can 15 upon 25 60 percentage. I can make out more than 60%, but all the values are very close in that case, right? So one way of finding out is find out 60% of this. 10% of this is 25.5, 20% is 51, right? And 60% will be 153. So 153, 60% left is 4. Okay, from that 1% is 2.55. It is 61 and 62 के बीच में answer. So answer will be B option. Right, I repeat again, the way to calculate could be 785 upon 1275, which you get 157 upon 255. I first find 60 percentage. 60%, 10% of 255 is 25.5. 60% is 153. If I remove 153, what is left is 4. Now 1% is 2.55. So I know it's between 1% and 2%. So from that I can make out the answer is B option. What is the ratio of total number of male players participating in badminton to total number of female players participating in hockey? Male players badminton is 270 and female players hockey is 120. So if you remove ratio, it is 9:4, which is B option. Yes. And if there is an increase in 10% in the total number of female players participating in hockey and badminton, then what's the total number of female players who participate in the tournament? So hockey and badminton, female players hockey and badminton together is 300. Increase in 10% is an increase of 30. So these become 330. Plus you have 190 plus 170, which is 360. Right, 190 which is 360, so you get 690 as the answer, which is C option. Anyway, the options were far off. You could have got the answer by a little approximation also. Yeah, 690. You could have made out the value is very high, all the options are quite low, and you can get the answer. Good. Fine, we go to next set. Now if you look at the previous sum, and looking at this sum, there were some calculations, but if you're comfortable with calculations, it can be easily done. Plus you should be good at calculating the 10%, 20%, 30% if possible. That somewhere helps somewhere when you're doing a division or some other calculation. Also, you need not calculate accurately. I did not calculate 6129 upon 51 accurately. What I did was I calculated 60% and I realized it is between 1% and 2%. So from that I could make out the answer is B option. So learn to calculate approximately, it helps to get the answer. Right, let's take the next set. Yes, you get it. You get direct sums also in the examination, which you can get answer directly by estimating as such. They're possible to get. Details hidden. 1 minute. So basically, industries in India and Bangladesh. So we're talking of industries in India and Bangladesh. Okay, what is missing is various industries in India and Bangladesh. No, when you say revise the mocks, you must have already done some write up on the mocks. You have to go to that write up. After every mock, you should make a small write up and just revise, not to go to the all the questions. You don't have time. Both are right and both, Masira. If both are correct and both are course of action, then both will be the course of action, not either. Right, now if you look at here, the production of sugar is 6 and 5 for India and Bangladesh, right? And the number of factories in India and Bangladesh is 400. So they said production upon number of factories. So 6 upon 400 and 5 upon 350. 7, 8, 3, 4. So you'll get 21:20 as the answer, which is C option. Right, Kushal? So if you look at it properly, you have 21:20 as the answer. Maybe because Sachin, your pressure is increasing and therefore your scores are going down. Yeah, so if I look at it, it is 1650 upon 750. So total here is 1650, total here is 750. If you look at 100% is 750, 200% is 1500. So what is left is 150. And now 10% is 75, 20% is 150. You can make out the answer will be 220 percentage. A option. Right, so you should be good at calculating 10-20%. as I said 750 1650, you can make out 200% is 1500 and balance is 150, 20% is 150, so you'll get total as 220 percentage. Hi Abhinandan. Yeah. So if you look at 7, we want cotton factories in urban areas. So rural areas is 70%. Sorry, 25% is rural areas. So urban area will be 75%. So 75% of 500, which is 375. 3/4 of 500 is 375. And we know Bangladesh 70% are in urban areas, which is steel factories. But we want rural areas, so which is 30% of 3750, which is, if you look at 225, difference will be 150, which is D option. So again same, 10% is 75, so 30% will be 225 multiplied by 3. You should get 225. So 375 minus 225 is 150 as the answer difference. Welcome Rekha. Yeah, yes, that is enough. You can go through that whatever you've gone through it. B option. So if you look at India, more or less than number of factors in Bangladesh. If I compare Bangladesh, here it is plus 100, here it is minus 100, so cancels off. India with respect to Bangladesh. If you look at here, it is plus 125, and here it is plus 50, which becomes 175. And here if you look at minus 150, so net if you look at is 25 more. 25 more out of how much? Bangladesh. Comparing with Bangladesh, 400 plus 425, you can do approximately also. 448, 8 plus 7, 15, 15, 18, 19, 19 plus 9, 28, around 2800. You can make out it is 1%, B option. Right, so here you make a difference. Once you find a difference, here India is 100 more, here is 100 less, here is 125 more, 50 more, 150 less. So net is 25 more. Denominator you can calculate approximately 4, 4, 7, 3 and 9, 27, 2800. You can make a ratio, you can make out that the answer will be 1% more. So India will be 1% more as compared to Bangladesh. Yes, it's possible to improve parajumbles in the next 4-5 days. No practice, maybe it's possible. No point revising all subjects. Just go to the mocks that you've written and go about it. Unless you made some notes, you can revise. Otherwise, then no point revising. Total number of cement, steel, and sugar factories in both countries together. So if you look at this is 750. This is 15, 16, 25, and this is 750 again. So 1500 plus 1625, 3125, which is C option. Yes. Don't remember, Matt. I think it should come 50% out of whatever I scored. Anyway, then we should disclose the marks and break up. Yes, I have not seen the time marks, but DI is not very time consuming in exam. It's solvable. So some are, normally you'll have one of set which are time consuming, but the rest are okay. Now, so if you look at 30% are female. You want male candidates of BJP in Karnataka. So 30% of 120 is 36. If you remove that, you will get 84. 70% of 12 is 84. And in Aam Aadmi, West Bengal, 35% of female candidates. So male candidates will be 65% of this, which is 26. So if you take a ratio, it's 42 is to 13, D option. So 40 into 65 is nothing but 65 you do double and double twice. So 65 double is 130, 130 double is 260. So from there you get 26. When you multiply by 4, you make twice, double twice, and you get the answer is 26. Yeah, so you can directly make the difference out here. Kerala and Punjab. So here if you look at Kerala is plus 19, plus 4, minus 4. This gets cancelled. Minus 1 plus 2. You can make out the total comes to 20, which will be B option. Here Kerala 9 to 28 is plus 19. Here's plus 4 and here's minus 4. That gets cancelled off. Minus 1 and plus 2. Total becomes 20, which is B option. The ISS do come of this level also in the exam, yes. Yeah, so if you add up everything, this comes to total 150. If you look at 20, 20, 20, 60, 60, 120, 120 plus 130, 150. 150 divided by 5 will give you 30 as the answer. A option. Okay, 150 divided by 5 will give you 30 as the answer. Okay, if I solve this, what do you get is okay, Delhi and Trinamool Congress. So if I ignore Delhi, just 1 minute. I think it's getting okay. So since Delhi is common in both, I can ignore that and add the others. So 7 plus 8, 15. 15 plus 41 is 56. 58 is here. Okay, from the 58, I want Trinamool Congress. Oh no. So you have to add 70, it becomes even Delhi. Now look at Trinamool Congress. So 125 plus 70, 80, 91. 125 plus 91 is 216. So 70 upon 216, if you look at it, it's much lesser. It's almost 30%, which means 70% less, which means C option. Yes. So if I add Delhi, okay, it becomes 70, and if I add Trinamool Congress, it becomes 216. So you can make out it's 1/3 less than 1/3. If it was 1/3, it will be 66% less. It's more than that much less. So from the option, only option possible is 70%. Right? You don't have to calculate accurately. As I said again, if I take 7 upon 21, it becomes 1/3, which means 66% less, which will be, but because of 216, it is more than that less. So from the option, you can mark it as 70% less. And you want approximately, it's not an accurate answer. Yes, yes. Normally you get options where options are far, where you can approximate it. So one set you may have one or two which are one question which are difficult, but again, it should not. Once you're used to the set, I think it should become fast to solve. Okay, so if you look at total of Punjab is 120, total of Delhi is 70. 25% winning candidate in Punjab is 30 years less, so it means lose more than 30 years will be 90. Okay, it will be 30 years plus. Is what I want now, more than 30 years in Punjab. And Delhi, 30 years more than the age is 70%. So less than will be 30%. So 30% will be 21. Right. So what I want is what percent. So 90 is what percent of 21. So you can make out it should be A option. More than 400%, right? 84 will be 400%. 6 more will be approximately 30 percentage. You can make out it will be 430. 430 is the answer. You get 90 upon 21. From that 84 will be 400 percentage. Left is 6. 6 you can make out will be 30 percentage, because 2.1 will be 10 percentage. So 6 will be 30 percentage. So total 430 percentage. Hardik, even if you don't do anything in the next series, I don't think it makes a difference. But write maybe 1 or 2 mocks and maybe just revise to whatever we have done so far. Zero, yes, it makes sense to leave more calculation based sums. Doesn't make sense to solve. Arithmetic based DI came once in the examination for one set. So there are not too many. I mean, so far it's not come regularly. One off set maybe sometimes it may come. Shviral. So Arithmetic based GI is not come. I don't know if it comes on maximum once, it should come. Yes, SK, if you don't enter a mock also is fine. Just ensure that the time of the actual examination you are active, that's all. Otherwise, if you don't enter mocks in this week also is fine. Profit and loss, the normal bar chart, pie chart do come. So if you call that as arithmetic, then it's arithmetic. So bar chart, table, etc., profit loss do come. Satak, you must have already written enough mocks, so you must have already made a plan in terms of what to solve, what not to solve. So don't try to make something new. I think based on whatever you already planned, you can work on. Okay, P is 10% increase, so it becomes 110 on Saturday. Q is 20% increase, which is 26 more, so 156 on Saturday. So what do you want? Number of calories burned by P on Wednesday and Saturday. So Wednesday and Saturday put together is 240. Okay, and number of calories burned by Q on Wednesday and Saturday, which is 120 upon 156 will be 276. Right. So you can make out the left hand side as okay, cancel it off. 12 20s are 12 2s are and 3s are, so 20 is to 23, which will be A option. Right, so multiple of 12, so 12 20s and 12 23s are. So I don't, so consciousness does go, it's not it doesn't go. So when you, if you feel that you're getting saturated, just take a small break of 15 seconds and then try to refocus yourself and then go back. But yes, 2.5 hours focus and try to go as far as possible, and that's what is important. That depends on you, man. You must have solved mock, so you should be knowing which area you're comfortable or not comfortable. Filling a blank also obviously you should do. Antonyms, synonyms you should do. I mean, anything that takes less time you should solve. Find a difference between total number of calories burned by P to that of Q in all the given days together. Difference. So if you look at P, minus 20 out here, plus 20 out here cancels off, plus 10, minus 20 and minus 30. So you can make out difference will be 40. This minus 20 plus 20 gets cancelled off. From this difference will be 40 will be a difference. So answer will be D option, which is yeah, marks per minute is more important than marks that you get. So try to focus on marks per minute. Okay, I'll try to increase the sound. Can you hear me better now? I don't know, I'm trying out something. Can you hear me now? Is it better? Okay, so if sound is good, okay, fine, perfect. So if I look at it, Monday, Tuesday, Friday for P is 80, 110 and 100, which you add it up will become 290. And whereas if you look at it for Q, Okay, Q for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you look at Wednesday, Thursday and Friday put together is 360. So you can make out 70 less out of 360, which will be 20% less. B option. Okay, 70 less. Okay, I'll try being loud. Okay, 70 less as compared to 360, which will be 20%. Level of difficulty keeps changing every year, so can't take a constant level. Actually, sometimes the in-progress stuff sometimes is easy. It varies every year, but normally technique it's not very tough. It's doable. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sorry, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. For P, average is 115. So total should be 460. From which these three put together is 310. So answer will be 150 balance. A option. So 80, 130, 100, total is 310, and 115 into 4 is 460. So difference will give you 150 as the answer. Avoid writing all the steps deep. That will help you be faster. Circular try. Shubham, it's possible for the abstract to be difficult in the exam and verbal to be lengthy in the exam. As a matter of fact, 2 years back verbal was really lengthy in the exam. Abstract has been easy of late, I agree with that, but verbal has been lengthy in the past. So P Monday Tuesday is 190. Okay, and Q on Wednesday is 120. So how much you can make out? 15, 150% is 180. What is left is 10 out of 120, approximately 10%. So approximately 160 will be the answer. C option. So if you look at 150% is 180. So what is the balance is 10. 10 out of 120 is approximately 10%. So from the options you can make out the answer will be 160%. Circular with blood relations. Will try. Not too many mocks on films. Middle mocks. Aage is not important. Shubha and Sri in 5 different schemes. Okay, after Shubha and Sri it is. right now don't worry about the programs MMSPG right now. You can look at that later on. Let's focus on CD right now and then look at how to focus on it. SK, it has come in the exam, but not frequently. I don't think last year it had come, but I think 3 years back it had come. So it's not very frequent, but it comes. Critical level in CT is not very difficult. You can solve it. Okay, let's solve this. Find a ratio between total amount invested by Shubha in B and D together. So if you look at B, the investment is 65 and this is 3 investments. So C's investment is 54. So B's investment is 46% of 65, that is B, Shubha, and D is 45, and here it is C's investment is 58, so which is 42% of 45. This is Shubh. C's investment in A and B, if you look at C's investment is 45% of 90 in A. Right, and B if you look at it is 54% of 65. Now you can make out that C will be more than Shubh for sure, because if you look at 65 and 90, even percentage is more, so you can make out that C will be definitely more than Shubh. You can make out the answer will be D option. You can calculate, but if I feel lazy to calculate, I'll mark D as the answer. It can't be ABC for sure, because 3 is more than Shubh. Okay, repeat again. In this I got 46%. Actually, as I before looking also I can make out all this is approximately 50%. If you look at Shubha, B and D put together is something around 65 plus 45, 110. Whereas C, A and B, if you add 155, you can make out that C will have more than Shubh for sure. So you can make out that ABC option is not possible. So if ABC option is not possible, the only possible option is D option. Yes, there is none of these. So it depends. If the calculation is not too tedious, then you can calculate it and confirm your answer. But if you feel a calculation is too tedious, it will take me a long time, I'll mark D and go about. I'll not bother about confirming my answer. Right? It depends on how tedious the calculations are. If the calculations are too tedious, then just mark. If you have shortlisted one option, just mark, ignore none of these and mark the answer and go. But if it is easy to calculate, then calculate and confirm. Dear, you can solve 1 minute per question. The exam can be solved. Scheme C offers simple interest at a certain rate of interest per annum. If the difference between interest earned by Shubha and C from scheme C after 3 years is 1440. Now if you look at scheme C, C has earned 42% and Shubha must have earned 58%, must have invested. So difference between them is 16% investment. So 16% of 50 is what they've invested. 50,000. So design 1,000. So 16% of 50,000 is what the difference in the investment is, which is 8,000. So 3 years they get 1440. So every year they get divided by 3, which is 480. So on investing 8,000, if you get 480, you are basically getting 6% interest rate. Yes, this is more difficult than a previous one, but still okay. So I repeat again here. So we're talking of C's investment, right? It's investment in C. Investment in C, if you look at Shubha has scored, C has got 42% investment. Okay, C. So Shubha has got 58. We want difference. So difference is straight away 16%. 16% of 50,000, because the amount invested is 50,000. This is the difference in their investment, which is 8,000. On 8,000, what is the interest rate you get? Every year you get an interest rate of 480. So on 8,000 you get interest rate of 480, which is nothing but 6%. 8 6 is 48. So normally in DI and exam, you out of the 4 sets, 2 are easy, 1 are medium, and 1 are difficult. That's how it comes. Out of the 4 sets, 2 are easy, 1 is medium maybe, and 1 is difficult. That's how you need to work on. So 1 pound half yearly, 12% per annum. Half yearly means you're getting 6% interest and 6% interest. So 1 year the interest, you can use the formula of A plus B upon A plus B plus AB upon 100, which is 6 plus 6 plus 6 into 6 upon 100, 12.36. So 12.36% interest on an investment of E, which is 75,000, which is basically 3/4 of 12. That D option will be the answer. So whenever you're multiplying, for example, whenever you're multiplying by 25, you basically do 1/4. Whenever you multiply by 50, you basically do half. Whenever you multiply by 75, you can do 3/4. Now I can do here 1 2 3 6 into 3 by 4 because I'm multiplying by 75,000 of 12.36%. You can make out to be 9.27. So you can make out the answer will be 9270. I'm ignoring the digits, but I can make out the answer will be 9270. D option. Not necessary. One need not be caselet. Normally, sometimes caselet comes, not regularly. Okay, repeat out here. Now 6%, 6%, 2 years. So you get 12.36%, 6%, 6% half yearly, you get 12.36% per annum. So on 75,000, which is E, you're getting 12.36%. So 12.36 into 3 by 4 you'll get 9.27, which is 9270. Roy Films do both, do calculation also and do mocks also if possible. Not too many mocks, less mocks hasn't come closer to exam, but focus more on looking back and analyzing your previous mocks. I would not advise shuffling between sections. You focus on a section and try to solve. By chance, if you feel a section is tough, then move to next section. Normally you focus on one section, try to complete one section, but for some reasons a particular section you're finding it more tough and you're not able to solve, it makes sense to move to other section and solve instead of completing that section. EPDM, I have no idea about that course, Gaurav, so I can't recommend anything about it. So Mahendra, the last few days focus on maybe analyzing your previous mocks and trying to see how to improve. Radhika, CT, DI, there will be a couple of easy sets, one moderate set and maybe one little difficult set. At least all the easy sets for sure. Moderate set, you can see what to do. Oh, this is a little calculative. But if you look at the numbers a little far, so you can maybe approximate. So Shubha is, this is C's investment, 45. So here it will be 55% for Shubha. To here it will be 46% for Shubha. Right. Here it is 58%. Here it will be 42%. And out here it will be 40%. That's how it is. But I think the options are far, so you can approximate still and solve. I know the numbers look still difficult, but maybe you can approximate. Let me do one more thing which is there. 90, 65 is 155, 155 plus 45, 250, 250 plus 75, 325. 90 plus 65 is 155 plus 45, 250, 325, 50% will be 16, 116. The answer looks to be none of these. It will not be 31. Anyway, let's try. 91, 55% will be 45 plus 45, 49.5 here. Okay, then 65 ka 40% will be around 26, something around 26 plus. 58, 50 will be 29. 42, 45 will be 21 minus 2, 19 approximately. 75, 4 will be 30. It should be 24, 650. 167 and 50, 76, 55, 105, 135, 155, 160. Let's say 50, 70, 80, 110, 30, 160 is less than 160 divided by 5. 32 say less. You're getting the answer is A option, I think. 31, 640. Too tedious a calculation. Okay, I'll just answer a couple of queries. I think you can solve this and go about it. What should be the approximate minimum time taken for a 3-layered puzzle? Don't solve a 3-layered puzzle. If it's a 3-layer puzzle, if there are basically 6 questions in a puzzle, take maximum 8 or 9 minutes and that's it. Don't try to solve too many puzzles in the examination. Yeah, you can do that, Pushkar. But the same thing, you can find that average and find total will be the same thing as finding Shubka average. That doesn't matter. So give your best. I think you get 157 and then you make a half. You get 31.4. It's not 167, I think it's 157. I don't know, maybe some calculation mistake, but anyway. Expected CET paper, please don't. Even someone gives you a session on expected CET paper, please don't look at it. Most of the people do a mistake because they try to predict a paper, and because they try to predict a paper and the paper doesn't go as per expected, they do wrong. So it doesn't make sense to look at expected paper in the exam. Yes, you should know familiar SK as per as series goes. Be comfortable with the familiar series type and then try to solve. That should help, hopefully. Fine, so I'll wind up here for today's session. I'm not solving this. I skip normally difficult sums, so I'm skipping this. I hope you'll get the answer. Yeah. So good night and see you tomorrow. Good night.